I hitched my boat onto the back of my truck. I called a friend and said, let's go try our luck. He said, I'm sorry, buddy, I can't go. I'm watching the Orlando Wilson fishing show. I called a gal who was an angler and said, if I don't go fishing, I'll go out of my head. She said, I'm sorry, honey, I can't go. I'm watching the Orlando Wilson fishing show.
Fishing with Orlando Wilson is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Spidercast, the first and only Superline system brought to you by Mitchell. Pennzoil, the motor oil that works like liquid ball bearings. And by Spider Wire. Now nothing gets away. Now, fishing with Orlando Wilson.
Today, guest David Vance and Orlando fish one of the finest lakes in Texas, Lake Fork, and they throw artificials for largemouth bass and catch some nice ones.
There's one. All right. Oh, that's a good one. Whoa. That's a good one. All right. Come on now. Oh, gosh. I thought that was a 7 or 8 pounder, the way he just stayed down.
Oh, I thought you had a big one.
Oh, I did too.
He thinks he's big. That's a baby.
Well, dog. You know, every time I set the hook on this lake, I think he ought to weigh 14 pounds, you know?
I'll tell you what, the way he had that rod bent right there, I thought that was jaws done attacked.
Boy, that's a good fat fish. That fish hadn't spawned. Look at that.
Sure hadn't.
I mean, you know, we're here the middle of May.
Usually on this lake right here, there's still some fish left spawning early May. There's so many fish in this lake that
probably can't...
They spawn on top of one another.
Well, you know, I think the Texas Park and Wildlife people, you know, deserve a lot of credit for their management efforts here, you know, in the slot limit. And I mean, this is a trophy fishery that I think's really going to exist for a lot of years.
I'll tell you, they really take care of it, and they're really proud of it, and they're going to a lot of pains to make sure that it stays good.
Yeah. And, you know, it's just so good to see a department really care about its resources like they do here in Texas. And, I mean, you know, they're willing to try new things and do things that, you know.
Yeah, and they've got it now on this lake now that you can only have one fish over 21 inches.
Yeah.
And, of course, 21-inch fish is a heck of a fish anywhere, and it's really a good one here on this lake. If you get up 21 inches, these fish are really heavy.
If people want to meat fish, there's a lot of other lakes they can go to catch them, you know.
That's right. You didn't have no trouble feeling with that spider wire, did you?
No. Yeah, this stuff is something. I tell you, that's a great thing. This stuff is so sensitive. If a fish just breathes on that floater, you know, that's the hardest bait to fish, you know, and feel as a floater rig. But it does such a good job with it. Boy, I mean, something in there that it's just solid as it can be.
There he is. That's a good one there. Oh, yeah. Orlando, I don't know if I can get this in the boat. Boy, I'll tell you what now. He went
Good
down
enough.
and he ain't coming up. That fish
Well,
like
that's
took
what I thought a few minutes ago, too.
fish like took rod out of my hand. That's a good one.
Look here.
Now, that's a Lake Fork bass right there.
Hey, he that old Zoom lizard, didn't he?
He sure did.
You get out of your way here.
That's what everybody comes to Lake Fork for right there. Come here, darling.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a nice one there.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Look at here.
Fish right
Catch and release works, doesn't
there.
it?
Sure does. That fish right there is over 21 inches. I guarantee
Now you can keep that one.
that fish here weigh about 7.5 pounds.
Man, was that a nice fish or what? You know, with the slot limit that they impose on the bass at Lake Fork, there's just an abundance of big fish to be caught. And I'm talking about fish from 4 to 7 pounds. I mean, that's big, huh? But, you know, I want to take a minute and show you the new reel, our new spider cast reel. You know, I've had a lot of fishermen ask me, well, you know, with spider wire, isn't there a problem with the small diameter line cutting down into my reel spool? And really the answer to that question is no, not if you use a proper drag setting and a light enough weight rod. You shouldn't have a problem with the line cutting down into the spool unless you've got it hung up and you're tugging on it or something. And then any line will cut down in the spool, no matter what pound test, whether it's monofilament or the new super lines or whatever. But anyway, to eliminate that problem from happening, our new spider cast reels have what they call the cross web line wrap. So the line goes on the reel in a crisscross pattern. So it's not laying side by side on the spool. So you eliminate the line, even when you tug on it pretty hard, from cutting down into the spool. And then when you pull it loose and you put line on top of it and you make a cast, you end up with a backlash. So that pretty much eliminates all those problems. But other than that, it's just a super new reel. And you can find all the features that you'd expect to find on any high-quality bait casting reel on our new spider cast reel. And one other thing, anytime that you've got a little bit of time, whether you're spooling line on your reel or you just got a minute that that's free, it's a good idea to use some of our new Slick 51 lube and take your bearing cap off and drop a few drops in there. And also don't forget to put a couple of drops on your worm gear down here that operates your line guide. So y'all stick around. We'll be right back. There he is.
Got him. All right. You good one?
No, but ain't too bad. He missed it a minute ago, and I threw back in there, and he got it. One of them death-defying bass.
He'd be a good one somewhere else.
Yeah, but not on the fork.
Right.
Oh, come on there, booger bear.
They all good, just some bigger.
How in the world do you make it out there swimming around with them big bass?
Look at the belly on that fish.
Yep. You know, a lot of these fish just haven't spawned.
I ain't throwed at that stump.
How come?
He might still be back in there like that one.
Oh, boy, that's a good
Boy,
one.
he nailed that spook now. You see him jump on that spook?
Hey, he nailed it, buddy. I hope he'll hit that spook.
Tell you what, that's what we've been looking for. Did he get him a mouthful of that thing or what?
He got it. That looks like the same one I lost here this morning, don't it?
I don't know. I think that one you lost this morning a little bit bigger now.
Think it was?
That ain't no slouch.
I tell you what, this lake is absolutely full of giant fish. I mean, it beats anything I've ever seen.
Well, I'll tell you what, that just shows you what good management of Texas Parks and Wildlife are doing for these fish here, I'll tell you. That is a good one. Go get him, Spook. Get another one.
Boy, I like to see him hit that spook. Now, I may have to put my little jerk bait down and go back to the spook. You know, I hear a little thunder rumbling. That may, barometric
turn 'em
pressure
on.
falling, may make them really get up on that top water.
I got
There's
me.
one.
All right.
It's not a big one, though. Another little one. Well, doggone. Oops, he came off. Thank you. That's what you call a Palm Beach release. There's several fish right around this end of that stand of trees, I believe. I don't think they're huge, but maybe a huge one in there with them. You know, Lake Fork is truly a phenomenal bass lake. Stay close, we'll be right back.
There's one right there.
Woo! Good one.
Well, he just kind of sucked it in and just swim off with it. Well, I'll tell you, most of the time when they do hit this sluggo, it's really not a earth-shaking deal. They just kind of just suck it in and just move off with it.
And, you know, on this lake, and a lot of lakes here, you know, there's just not a lot of baits that'll beat a sluggo when the fish are up shallow.
Because it's just 100% weedless. You know, you can just about throw it anywhere you want to. Where's the pliers?
Dave, why don't you show them how you're rigging that sluggo?
Well, the way I like to rig it, I like to just bring the point right in the front and bring it right up to where the hook bends right there. A lot of people like to hook it just a little bit deeper, but I feel like I can get it to dart a little bit better by just pulling it right to where the hook bends and just bring it out, twist it up over that shank, and just kind of cinch it back a little bit, because you need to cinch it back to where the bait will hang straight, because I think it's important for the bait to hang straight so you can get the optimum action out of it.
Another important thing to point out, you'll notice that Dave's using a real big JBL style hook that's offset, and it's really important that you got a lot of bite in that hook, because that's real thick rubber, and if you use too small a hook, the worm will wad up and you don't have a lot of hook left to stick in them.
Right, and make sure you bring your hook all the way through the back side of the sluggo, because it's got a kind of a concave back on it, which it'll still be real weedless, but you'll still have the hook exposed right there, and you'll get a better hookup on your fish when you do get a bite. All right, and let's see if it'll work. Little old creek channel running right up down through here. These fish were spawning right on this flat right here, and they're starting to move right down this creek channel right here. So it's been a real good spot.
Well, I got my worm right back there in it. We're moving away from it.
A lot of good grass.
We got a lot of rods and stuff in the way here. Boy, I tell you what, we're pretty sloppy looking fish with all these rods laid in here, aren't we?
We got everything we need to catch them, though, I tell you. Oh, that grass down there feels good. Got one? Oh, he's got you in the stuff.
Yeah.
Let me get you over.
I got him, but I can feel him down there, guys.
Well, there's a lot of stick-ups right here.
Yeah, well, he's around one of them.
Well, it's a good thing you got that braided line on there, I'll tell you that.
Come on, baby.
Is he still there?
Yeah, I can feel him. Let me see if I can get in.
Let me get you
Oh,
over
he's got a
there.
wad of grass or something around him. See if I can get him here.
Get you
Well,
over
he's
here.
right down in that wad of grass.
Got him? All right.
Yeah, if I can get that grass.
That's a good one.
Yeah, buddy. Boy, I had him hooked right in the corner of the mouth, too.
Boy, he's buried up in that grass, wasn't
Man, did you see that wad of grass that come up with
he?
him?
I'm telling you. That's tough.
But he was around a tree, too.
That's tough line.
Look at that line. That line ain't frayed or anything.
That hook's bent, though, a little bit.
Buddy, that is a nice bass.
That's a good one. A nice one. Nice fish.
There he goes. You know, the fun part about fishing Lake Fork is the different ways and the different lures and the different baits and the different places you can catch them, especially this time of year. I said it's my favorite time to fish. Now we're fishing the end of a real long point that starts weighing. I mean, that thing runs out here a quarter of a mile.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then just slowly tapers off, and it's got milfoil and stumps and standing stick-ups and stuff on it. Earlier today, we were fishing 17 to 20 foot of water around a stand of trees. That's where I lost the 2 big ones this morning.
Right.
And then we moved over and fished a road bed, and we caught several fish in a pipeline that crossed the road bed. And then up from that, we caught some more fish where a culvert went under the road bed. So the road bed was the structure, I guess, that congregates them, and they locate themselves on the other structure that joins that.
Mm-hmm.
And now we moved out here, and we're catching them on the milfoil edges and in the edge of some pretty heavily timbered area off the side of the point. So, I mean, you know, it's just something for everybody, ain't it, Dave?
Oh, yeah, there's so many patterns on this lake right here. You can run several different patterns on this lake in one day. I mean, just pretty much what we've done. You know, we've caught fish shallow, we've caught them deep.
Well, that's one thing we wanted to do. We wanted to catch the fish in a variety of different ways. Oh, right there, let me get this thing on. And I got it. And we've done that. You know, we've caught them on Zara spook, Carolina rig, lizard, Carolina rigged worm, Texas rigged lizard, jerk bait, crankbait, and, you know, I guess they would have hit other things, you know.
And sluggo.
But anyway, I mentioned a few minutes ago that I had something I wanted to show you. I want to get this thing out. This is just pretty amazing to me. I picked up this newspaper called Lake Fork Visitor's Guide, dedicated to Lake Fork Reservoir. It's a little shopper-type publication. And inside the front cover, well, second page, I guess it is, it lists the different lakes where the Texas top 50 largemouth bass. Now, when you look down this list, there's 50 bass on here that range from 18.18 pounds, and the smallest of the top 50 is 14.91. Now, that's a lot of real big fish. And if you count these up, I think there's 13 bass in the top 50 that weren't caught in Lake Fork. So all the rest of the bass, I mean, look, going down this list. The Fork, Pinkston, Fork, Mill Creek, and it just goes on and on. Possum Kingdom's got 2, and then I don't think there's another lake that's got a record in the top 50, but maybe one time, like, well, you got Pinkston, Mill Creek, Gibbons Creek, Possum Kingdom, Caddo, Amistad, Possum Kingdom, Amistad, well, there's 2 Amistad, Houston County, Jacksonville, Falcon. And then all the rest of the bass have been caught on Lake Fork. And as you can see, most of the records were caught January, February, March, and then there's several in April and on into May. And another article here shows a guy that kept up with his catch from January to February, and in the 5 and 6 pound class and the 3 and 4 pound class, you can see here that that's 60, 75 bass in these different ranges. So look how many fish are caught in the 3 to 4, I mean, from the 3 to 6 pound class. Looks like this one guy got about 5 over 10. And, but anyway, just some interesting reading. You know, anytime I get ready to go to a lake somewhere, I'll always call, either pick up a local newspaper or I'll call a sports writer in town and find out what they're doing. And that's one of the best sources of information you can get, you know, because they try to keep up with it daily. And so those sports writers can be your best friend. But anyway, David, I appreciate you taking the time and coming out and filming with us today.
Enjoyed it.
I mean, it couldn't have been more fun. I mean, we really had a great time.
Enjoyed your company.
And you folks get ready to, and you feel like you want to catch a big fish, I don't know of a better place that you can do it than right here on Lake Fork. See you next week.
Fishing with Orlando Wilson has been brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Spidercast, the first and only Superline system brought to you by Mitchell. Pennzoil, the motor oil that works like liquid ball bearings. And by Spider Wire. Now nothing gets away.
I hitched my boat onto the back of my truck. I called a friend and said, let's go try our luck. He said, I'm sorry, buddy, I can't go. I'm watching the Orlando Wilson fishing show. So I parked my truck and I went back to my room. Put up my feet and then I turned on the tube. I can't go fishing, everybody I know is watching the Orlando Wilson fishing show. I can't go fishing, everybody I know is watching the Orlando Wilson fishing show.